Teri Angel. We're going to be doing a silent meditation today for our meditation a day. And that means that Teri and I are going to be meditating off screen. We invite you to meditate along with us. And after 25 minutes, we'll come back on and we'll share with you what we experienced in meditation. It's always fascinating what gets revealed during these times. So please stay with us. So, Teri, if you are ready with the music, we'll go ahead and go offline. And we're back, Teri. There we go. Teri, can you hear me? Teri, can you hear me?
Okay, I hear you now. I'm sorry, I had to turn my speaker on to hear you.
That's fine. All right. Well, that was really interesting. That was interesting. You know, here in the States, we're preparing for Thanksgiving, and that's on Thursday for us. But it's such an interesting emotional time right now for folks. It's just layer after layer after layer of all of these different emotions coming up, whether it's fear or sadness or anger. I mean, there's just so many layers. And so to layer that on top with a pretty much national holiday, it just throws in another layer, another filter on it. And so the words that came to me were, but how do I feel about this? This being everything, right? The COVID and politics and loss and fear. And how do I really feel about this? And what do I do about that? And Teri, we had come up with several different things about that. And the first one was awareness. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in what the collective energy is, the fear, the panic, the anger, that we don't take time to say, how do I feel about that? Just like what Ruth just said. And looking inside and saying, is there fear in there? Is there anger? Is there anxiety? You know, how am I feeling? Just do a check-in with yourself. And right now, like Ruth was saying, with the holidays coming up, how do I feel about these holidays coming up? And you know, what's it going to look like? It's not the same as it has ever been before. And this is something that we've never gone through, a holiday season with something looming out there like what we're dealing with. So the self-awareness is number one. And then finding what tools you can find, being creative. What have I got to work with here in my toolbox? And maybe you have some, maybe you don't. So Ruth, I think it's a good time to talk about offense and defense.
Last week, Spirit was working, I remember it was probably Archangel Michael is my guess, was working really hard with Teri and myself about the energy associated with the virus. And we spent hours and hours just sitting in meditation, getting information, spiritual information about the virus and what do we do with it. And one of the things that we saw is that this is not just a physical combat that we're up against with this virus. Now, I know some people don't necessarily even believe that the virus exists or that it's in the multitudes of people that it's impacted. And all of that aside, what we had seen was it's not just a physical warfare that we're up against, it's a spiritual warfare that we're up against. And we've spoken to several light workers who are also feeling the same way, that it feels like there is this energy associated with the virus that is feeding on fear, it's feeding on anger and other low level vibrational frequencies. Teri, you were getting a lot of information about defense and offense in regards to COVID.
Yes, absolutely. The defense is love. How do we protect ourselves? How do we stay in a positive mode and still be realistic that this is going on and not feed into that fear? So what I got from my spirit guides and the angels is to stay in love And just like with any energy that's a destructive force, anything that is coming on an attack, let's put it that way, what do? And your defense is to show it love. And that sounds so off the wall. You know? And I can even see people saying, I'm not going to show love to that. How can I show love to it? Look at what it's done. But what happens when we show fear and anger, any of the low vibration, we're coming down to the level of that energy that is vibrating there. We don't want to be down at that level. We want to keep our vibration and our frequency high, because raising our vibration, first of all, physically, it helps our immune system. It boosts that. And mentally, what does it do? Staying in that high vibration keeps you up. It doesn't allow you to go into all of that anger and resisting energy. So staying in the vibration of love means I'm going to see this as energy and I'm going to love it. I'm going to just pour love to transmute it into positive energy. That's our defense. And we can use that at any time. I've even renamed the virus. We did that this morning. We're like, the name that it's been given brings up such a negative connotation. It brings up that all the memories of what it has done, the lives that have been lost, the people that have mourned their loved ones because of it. So if you have a name that means something very positive, rename it. And when you speak of it, don't say the name it's been given. Say the name that will bring up more positive energy to you. And that's a tool that we can put in our toolbox. We have many tools to deal with this. And the first one, number one, is love.
And Teri, the message you kept getting last week, because this was last Sunday that we sat and really went in deep into this energy, the line you kept hearing was, a good defense is a good offense. I think that's what it was. We'll have to look that up again. But it was the idea behind it being, we don't always have to be on the defense of this. Like, oh my gosh, here it is, right? But let's go out there offensively. And to do that by putting ourselves in the higher vibrational frequencies that are associated with divine light, with the creator, with the angels, and really just coming out offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have these tools. We know how to do this. We have the technology, okay? So when we cover ourselves in the light from source energy, I call it God, when we stay covered in that white light, knowing that we're protected, knowing that we're loved, then we're better able to share love, because that's what's in our heart. If we're in the fear, we're thinking with our head. If we're coming from love, we're coming directly from our heart. And so staying very heart-centered through all of this, it could be a challenge, but we have choices. We make the decision of how we're going to deal with things and how we're going to react and respond. So coming from the love is the best defense that you can have, and being shielded in the light is the best offense you can have.
Beautiful. And when we were talking about the awareness of how we felt and coming into the holidays, or even for you all, if it's just a normal Thursday, we were talking about, wow, well, what can we do? Well, one option is to just make it a normal Thursday. You don't have to have it as a holiday if you don't want. For a lot of folks, it doesn't feel like a holiday, so why even call it that? And then for folks that actually want to have it be as a holiday, what can you do? What you want it to be like, and what can you do to approximate that? Now, for us in our household, we are actually ordering food out, and then we're splitting it up with family members who aren't going to be with us, but we will be eating the same food as them. And just those little steps of, oh, well, Charlie loves Jell-O. So every year we make Charlie Jell-O, and then we buy him Peeps because that's his favorite thing. And every year we do that. Well, we're doing it this year, but we won't be seeing Charlie, right? We'll be sharing that with Charlie, but not in the same room. So approximating that, is it that you're sitting down over Zoom with your family members and enjoying the meal together, even if it's a peanut butter sandwich, but you're there with them in spirit. Teri, we also talked about what can I do to comfort myself? If I'm feeling that need to be comforted, what can I do? And the message we heard from Spirit is to provide 24 hours of programming on EWN. So if you want to just be watching videos of meditation or going to the healing pool or working on the crystalline grid, you can do that. You can just stay here on EWN and completely forget that there's anything that other people are doing across the nation on that day. So we will be putting that together for you all. The last thing that we talked about was two other things. We talked about divine timing. Teri, do you want to share the card that you pulled from Kuan Yin? And how does that topic of divine timing have anything to do with what we're talking about today?
Absolutely. Divine timing has been coming up a lot. I've heard it from a lot of people, and the things that are happening, especially, and things that are showing up in life. This card from Kuan Yin says, did you know that there are no mistakes in the universe? And all events, circumstances, relationships, and situations are unfolding in perfection with the timing and intelligence of the divine plan. Any apparent delay is in your favor. If something is happening for you right now, then that is perfect too. Divine timing is perfection. So we might not look at this virus that we're dealing with as divine timing, and especially with the holidays and what people are used to, but just feel into the energy of things are not the same as they used to be. So how can I incorporate all of my tools, be creative, and find those ways to still do what I want to do as far as socializing with my family? There has to be a better way than what we used to do. Doing that may put me in danger. So divine timing says, let me look at what I can do. What I can do is what I have control over. I have control over my thoughts and my actions. So if I want to spend the day with my family on Zoom or spend the day watching videos that are going to uplift me, I have control over that. So everything is working to its perfection. When we resist it, we're feeling out of control, and we're feeling like we want to do whatever we can do to get back into some mode of control. So take that control, whatever it is that's going to comfort you. If it's getting on the phone and spending time with a loved one on the phone, working with them on Zoom, you can play games over Zoom.
We do.
Just put your video camera and you can play the games that way. You can share the meal with your family. Ruth, we even did this before last year. We did the dinner together, come to dinner, and shared throughout the world. You can do that with your family this year. There's always a way when you have that thought of something that you want to do. Just feel out what that divine timing is showing you and what that perfection of it is.
Right. Thank you, Teri. And then the last thing we talked about was personal transformation during this time. And that also buys into divine timing as well. Who you are today is different than who you were yesterday because of the life experiences that you've had, just even in the last 12 or 24 hours. We encourage you to have that awareness of who you are at this point. I know who I was a year ago. Thanksgiving is light years different than who I am this year at Thanksgiving. So my thinking, oh, I just want to go into Thanksgiving and have it be how it was, can't even possibly be, because I'm not who I was, nor is anybody else who would be with me. They're not the same as they were. They have all transformed as well. So we encourage you, just look and see who you are as a spiritual being right now, and just be aware of that and use that as a starting place for that offensive stance that we were talking about walking in the light, doing those things to raise your vibrational level as we move forward during this holiday time. Teri, anything else along those lines?
What I just thought of is we're so emotionally tied in at the holidays. Those are the times when we make beautiful memories, usually. In the past, that's been the time of family pictures and family gatherings. This year, try to find a creative way to make beautiful memories. It's not going to be the same as it was in the past, but let's make it something beautiful. Find one thing you can do to make a beautiful memory on this holiday, and let's keep that alive. Keep whatever you can find positive in your life as something that you'll remember about this holiday instead of remembering that you couldn't do something that you used to do. Find something new that you can create. So I think that will help all of us if we can stay focused on the positive and what is possible instead of what isn't possible.
And I think, too, this particular holiday is supposed to be about gratitude. And so if you can find someone that you're grateful for, or something that you're grateful for, and show that gratitude to that person, it really might lift somebody else's day to hear that you really appreciate them. And that helps you to be in a little higher vibrational frequency as well as them. So if we go with the idea of intercession, where you're helping to support somebody else, that's a perfect way to help somebody else raise their vibrational frequencies.
Absolutely. Stay in your heart, stay in the love.
And stay in the light. Right. So, Teri, thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for walking this spiritual walk with me, that you and I can be together in meditation and learn things like spiritual principles about this time in our history. I am so grateful for you.
And I'm grateful for you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, everybody who's watching, thank you for being here. We are so appreciative of you. And if we can help support you at all during this time, please don't hesitate to reach out. So much love to each and every one of you. Do take a look for 24 hours of programming on EWN over Thanksgiving, and know that we love you. Know that we walk in spirit with you. So with that, we'll say, take good care and God bless.